Hey guys, it's Rachel here from Moments to Milestones, putting together our newest card kit. This is a card kit from Avery Elle, featuring, I think the stamp and die set was called Best of the Bunch. And so these are just real simple cards. Really the focus is on coloring and a little bit of ink blending. So we're going to do 4 cards today, and you will get in your kit all the die cut and stamped images to create the card with instructions and a list of the supplies I use to color in the back. So we'll get started with this first one here. Congrats. And today we are using 2 Lawn Fawn inks. We have apricot, which is a light peach, and grape jelly. But really you could completely go rogue and use blue and yellow or whatever works for you. This was a class that Avery Elle put on for vendors, and I actually went rogue. They had used blue and something else, and I just went with the colors I had to kind of match my markers. So feel free to exercise your creativity. I'm going to go ahead and start and put that ink on the bottom of my white card base. Put ink onto the brush, and I'm going to start off and slowly come on. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. I came up about 1/3 of the way and slowly let that ink fade out. I am going to clean off the ink here so we don't transfer it onto anything. Okay, so I did that first so that can kind of set aside and dry a little bit. Let that dye ink soak into the paper. It'll lighten up a little bit too. And so I listed on the instructions I'm using Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. These are all the same type of marker, just they changed the barrel. So I'll hold these up here for a second and you can see which ones I used. I'll try to put all the colors together. There's like green. I did not use this one. There's green, yellow, an orange, a purple, and a few shades of gray. But like I said, I listed those in the instructions. But you're free to use whatever. I actually prefer colored pencils, but today I used the alcohol markers. I'm going to start with a green, and shading is up to you. So on this card, I did do a little bit of shading, but on some of the others, I just used the light color and went in and colored the images. So I'm going to get my mark in here. This is the darker color, so I'm just going to put a little at the base of the leaves or where I want the shadows to be. And this one too. And then the lighter color. And with the noir, I like to kind of move it around in a circle and pull it out. Pull that darker color out. I think those are supposed to be leaves and I didn't color those. Okay, and the stem. So I just went dark on the ends and light in the middle, and so that's good for those. And let me finish this little greenery here. All right, and I chose peach. So this is CR1 and CR2. And CR2 is the light color. And CR2 is the dark. So I'm going to start with a dark, very light, just at the base. And I use it on this one too. And I think I did these little flowers as well. Oops. Alright, those look good. And then I used a little bit of purple. So I have a PL2 and an LV2. So one is really purpley and one is more pinky, more like a violet. I'm actually going to find a scratch paper to see which is which because I forget. Let's see. I'll just use the back of my instructions. Alright, that's the lighter one. And then this LV2 is really purple. And so you may not think those could blend, but carefully they do all right. So, oops, I'm going to start with a darker color. Getting ahead of myself. Just going to put a little at the bottom. And when I blend with markers, I just like to keep it simple. I know some people use 3 colors. I like to just stick with 2, a light and a dark. All right, so there are those, and then there's these little things at the end, and I'm going to also touch those with that. All right. So all of my, I'm trying to figure out what is that. Looks like it's probably supposed to be a leaf, so I'm going to get the green on that. This one keeps so frustrating. Okay. I'm going to stick my thumbnail in there and hold it. Okay. And so now I am going to do the mice. So really, I'm going to do the IG2 and the 4. And we'll start with a darker color, which will be the 4. And then I'm just going to go in and put some shadows where I want them. And then go in with the light. And blend it out. And then the other, I think one's a squirrel, one's a mouse actually, but I'm going to color them both gray. And these images are so small, you really can get away with not, you know, just using one color and putting some color down. And then I'm going to go in with that light pink again, the CR2, and I'm going to get his ears, and then I'm going to give him a little rosy cheeks, like so. And one finishing touch, I'm going to use the IG1. And their little white bellies, I'm just going to put a little shadow on. All right, that one's finished. I did forget about this little guy. There's a bird here and one flower. So let me get out my pinks again. I'm going to start with a dark. Oops, I started with a light. Go. And then I have a couple yellow colors I'm going to use for the bird. LY1 and 2. 2 is going to be the darker of the two. And I actually, let me see. Yeah, I lied. The LY1 is the darker. I just pop it in there. I do have an orange here. He has a beak. Later we're going to color a fox. So that orange is out. I'm just going to touch his little beak there. And then he is all colored. Now we can put our card together. So the first thing we'll do here is we're going to tie this twine around the bottom of our card, about 1 inch from the top. So I'm going to pull as tight as I can without bending it. Tie a bow. You know what? Let me try this again. Let me get my tweezers out so that I can grab that little piece. And I'm going to put my head over where the camera's at. And then I can just reach in, pull it out, and there we go. And when you get it the way you want it, you could put a glue dot behind it, or what I'm going to do is open my card and get out some wet glue. I'm going to get it straight, and then I'm just going to put a little glue behind it, and that will help hold it in place. And then I am going to put one right behind the bow. Alright, so now we have that on there. You can trim any excess if you want. Kind of like the way that curls, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to get out some foam squares. And I popped up both of my images. Alright, I've removed the backing, and I'm just going to sit them on top there. There's those guys, and then my little bird. Just have him up here. All right, so that one is finished. We will move on to the next one, which is Feel Better Soon. And let's see, we need the apricot ink again and a kit. So it should look like this. So this time we're going to start at the top and work our way down, and we're going to come 2/3 of the way down. So this may take a little bit longer. I'm going to get it nice and inky. I'm going to try this. I have a little silicone mat that maybe will help move the ink around a little bit better. All right, I'm going to call that good. We'll let that even out a little bit. Let me clean off this mat. All right, so now we're going to color our images. Same way, same color scheme. So what we ended up doing in class was just pulling all the die cut, stamped and die cut images from our card kits and coloring them all at once. Since we use the same color scheme, it kind of makes the process go faster. Although if you want to do one card at a time, you're welcome to. But it's also, you know, you could stamp and die cut a bunch of images and then die cut them out. And then this is simple. I stamped an image or a sentiment, picked a coordinating ink color, and inked it and put the images on. If you don't like the blending, you could find a coordinated cardstock and just cut a strip there. But like I said, the focus was on some quick and easy cards. So I'm going to use the OR1 to color my fox. And I only used one color on him. All right, so those guys are done. We're just going to pop those up and stick them down. All right, feel better soon. Let's see. All right, that card is finished. So you can see here on this card quickly that I really didn't do, like on the greenery and stuff, I didn't do the shading, so it has a softer effect, and this with the shading you get a more vivid, darker, intense look. So I like both. Just depends on what you're going for. So that one's finished. Okay, our next card is Hugs Sending Smiles. This time we're going to flip to the Grape Jelly ink, and this time we're just going to kind of create color right in the center. So we'll ink it up, and I am going to tap it off so I don't get a real dark spot, and then I'm slightly in the middle, slightly down, you can kind of see, and I'm just going to start laying color. Pressing harder in the center and then pulling up on my brush as I work my way out. That looks good to me. just wipe that up. All right, set that aside and we'll do our coloring again. We have the same fox and you have a couple little butterflies. So this time I think I'm just going to go with the light colors and I'll speed it up a little bit. All right, so that is done. And then I also used the purple marker to color the letters. So you could also use ink here and a dauber. Might be a little, you could use the blending brush. It might be hard because of all the different edges. But like a dauber would probably work good if you wanted, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use the chisel tip this time. And just color those in. Let those dry. And so we'll put the foam on the back of this fox. All right, so I'm just going to set him right next to the sentiment. And looking at it, I want a little variation in the center of that flower. So I'm just going to take some of the dark and just dot it around. That might help. And then I've got the hugs, which is glued straight down. So I'm going to flip them over, pick them up, and use wet glue on them. So I'm going to start with the H. It should space across there nice and even. Which I'm lucky the way I put my fox. I barely had enough room for that H, so maybe, hopefully you didn't run into that. Nothing a little undo wouldn't fix. G. And with that, using they kind of get a watercolor effect because there were probably areas that I covered more with that marker. If you wanted to get it more even, you certainly could if you kept going over it. But I kind of like that soft look. And then I'm going to finish. I'm going to cut another foam square in half for my butterflies. And let's see, going right here, kind of resting almost on the S. All right, that card is finished. We have one more card here. what is it? I didn't even put it out. It is the thank you, you are the best of the bunch. So again, we have, this time we have a different image we haven't seen yet, this sweet little bunny. Alright, so he is done, and then I'm going to color the letters in the same way that I colored the last one. Same color too. So use the chisel tip. And if you don't like that kind of watercolor effect, it comes when you, like, where the tip, you know, covers more than once. So you could do your best to not have that, or go over them a couple times. All right, my letters are all colored, so now we're going to put the card together. I am going to start with the thank you, and I'm going to start with a T and put it right over I don't want it inside the U, but like the T is going to be right over the U, so it'll be slightly. That way we can kind of space it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and put down the U. I mean, I could go in there and lay them out and move them around, but I'm just gonna go for it. The only thing I am gonna do is get out my T-square ruler and make sure that they are lined. See, I have that one up way too far. Try that again. I'm going to hold it right where I want it and then put it down. There we go. All right, I'm going to work my way out. Oh. All right, so we have our thank you down, and I'm just going to pop up my little bunny. All right. Oh, you know what I didn't do on this card? Oh, wow. Well, I can still do it because it won't change that. I didn't put the ink on there. So lucky for me that die cut, those die cuts are kind of the same color. So just get a little ink on there. And right in here, I'm just gonna add some color. So maybe you caught that I did not do that, and you got it done. Maybe a little bit more. Crisis averted. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this card by putting the sweet little bunny right over here. All right, that card is completed as well, and I will bring back the other ones that we made. So these would make a nice little gift set if you wanted to maybe gift someone with some cards to send out, because they have nice sentiments that are easy to use for anyone. So I hope you enjoyed this card kit. Again, this is the Avery Elle Best of the Bunch. If you're looking for a kit you can go to our website from momentstomilstones.com and search for our card kits there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.